Anyone thinks that Ripple is not 100% behind XRP is just missing, they've lost the plot. Like, we are totally committed and we will remain totally committed.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. We're going to dive into XRP, HBAR, and Casper in this one. Alright, first up, shared by Ripple VP Emi Yoshikawa, hot off the press from Korea. Infinite Block, a VASP, or a virtual asset service provider, licensed custody company in South Korea, is now running a validator on the XRP Ledger. So Infinite Block is a Korean virtual asset service provider, and we can see a virtual asset custody company. Was the only company to pass the evaluation among 50 companies that applied for the VASP license in 2023. Now this is interesting. The XRP Ledger has been an open source decentralized protocol since 2012, processing over 2.5 billion transactions, surpassing Ethereum. We can see these numbers directly on etherscan.io for number of transactions on Ethereum, just over 2.3 billion. So I'm on xrpscan.com looking at the metrics, but the page isn't loading, and we can see right here total ledgers closed over 87 million. So the XRP Ledger processes transactions and groups them into ledgers, so each ledger actually represents a snapshot of the balances and all the transactions in a given time frame. So when we see over 87 million ledgers successfully closed, that doesn't correlate to the total number of transactions on the XRP Ledger. So I just wanted to try to explain that in case there's any confusion. We can see the transactions and accounts created 606. We know this isn't accurate at all, so it looks like this is measuring some amount in a specified time frame. So the XRP Ledger has over 2.5 billion transactions. Ethereum's mainnet has over 2.3, coming up on 2.4 billion. The two other networks that are absolutely crushing it in terms of total transactions on their mainnet include Hedera and Solana. So Hedera on hederatransactions.com, over 51 billion transactions. So a big bulk of this, and we can see the TPS, is Hedera Consensus Service. When we go to explorer.solana.com, we can see the transaction count. This is the live count. This is a huge number. Over 289 billion. Now this number seems like a lot, but I don't believe the reporting is entirely accurate for Solana, and yes, I believe that Solana can do really well. Bitcoin rips, it wouldn't surprise me to see Solana go to an all-time high, but I'm referring to how it's actually reporting transactions. On realtps.net, we can see Hedera is the #1 chain in terms of transactions per second. We can see Solana right below with this little warning symbol. When we click this site measures and compares the average transaction throughput, or transactions per second, committed by various blockchains. It does this with a simple method of counting the transactions in every block over the time period spanning from 1 week ago until the present moment, then dividing that total number of transactions by the number of seconds from the beginning of the first block until the end of the last block. So this says nothing about theoretical throughput, nor peak burst throughput or latency. What's important to note about Solana is a large proportion of transactions reported by Solana nodes are actually validator vote transactions, which are part of Solana's consensus mechanism, as most chains do not expose this type of information as a standard transaction. So to make the stats more useful for comparison, they don't include the vote transactions in their TPS calculations for Solana. So when I'm looking at the number of transactions, I do have to consider that for Solana, but they are getting adoption. So just a friendly reminder for any newer projects that launch and they talk or highlight their TPS or brag about their high throughput or their number of transactions, we have to ask, what are those transactions? And are the right transactions being reported, or are these just additional transactions that make the numbers look better? So next up, we can see Ripple was a platinum sponsor at Dubai Fintech Summit 2024 that took place last week. So this Dubai Fintech Summit was organized by the DIFC. And why this is relevant is back in November, the DIFC right here announced licensed firms can now incorporate XRP into their virtual asset services. So the Dubai Financial Services Authority has approved the digital asset XRP within the DIFC, the Dubai International Financial Center. When we go to the DIFC's website under the Who We Are page, we've highlighted this a lot. We can see a 20-year track record comprised of 72 countries with a combined population of around 3 billion people and a nominal GDP of approximately $8 trillion US. So the DIFC in the MENA region is massive. I'm looking forward to see which other assets they approve in their virtual asset services in the future. Next up, a quick 10-second clip of Brad Garlinghouse shared by Good Morning Crypto.
Anyone thinks that Ripple is not 100% behind XRP is just missing, they've lost the plot. Like, we are totally committed and we will remain totally committed.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Ripple join forces with HashKey to introduce XRP Ledger powered enterprise solutions in Japan. SBI Group companies will be the first Japanese corporations to utilize the solution in Japan. to introduce XRPL-powered enterprise solutions in the Japanese market. So Hashkey Group, with its blockchain-powered supply chain finance solutions, which have seen widespread adoption in mainland China, launched in July of 2019, currently has more than 4,000 companies registered, including 23 banks and 4,300 suppliers. The total amount recorded exceeds $7 billion with financing transactions nearing $3 billion within the solution. So we have Hashkey DX introducing these supply chain finance solutions to Japan through collaboration with the company Ripple and SBI Ripple Asia, with these solutions being built on top of the XRP Ledger. So we'll keep tabs on any of these supply chain financial solutions building on the XRPL. Next up, shared by Casper Labs, the Casper CEO will be joining IBM's Senior VP for Products during the keynote presentation at IBM Think on Wednesday, May 22nd. So this will be taking place in a little over a week from now, based in Boston. We can see that Think is IBM's signature annual event, expected audience of 5,000 attendees. In this session, we'll focus on Casper Labs' work with IBM's Watson X and an in-depth overview of their solution. If you watch the hour-long development call shared by Casper, they also highlighted this fondant, your seamless Casper blockchain testing tool. So they put some information out right here. We can see a testing toolkit that simplifies the process of creating and debugging Casper-based applications. And we can see the Actis conference of this year is taking place in 2 days in Washington, D.C. In a quote shared by Casper of the chairman of the Actis Foundation, if the blockchain does not adopt the standard like Actis for tokenized asset messaging, it will inherit the mess which we have already in the financial world. So we know networks like Cardano, Ethereum, and Casper have worked with Actis. We know that Casper is actively working with the Actis Foundation, but I want to see mainnet deployments already. We know the CEO of Nucleus Finance said the financial contract market is a $50 trillion opportunity, 50 trillion, that is levels beyond what the crypto asset class is valued at today. And the global equities market is around $100 trillion today. And as always, we highlighted the billions of transactions running on top of Hedera. We need to see Mainnet Activity actual deploys transactions. I wish meme coins and community tokens well, but for an L1 network, I want to see Mainnet Activity with enterprise applications. So for any viewers, guys, I'm not trying to FUD any network when I give news or share my opinion. I do just want to see Mainnet Activity with real applications, not just on the test network. I know that other networks are older, they've been around longer, but I do want to see some activity. So we know the IBM application is a really big use case. Casper Network is actually an embedded service within IBM's tech stack, but how long is that going to take? Same thing with Actis and Nucleus Finance. I want to know how long that will take to actually see mainnet activity, especially at scale. And the number one thing that captures retail attention, yes, utility is great and big pieces of fundamental news are important, but if an asset doesn't get price action, people don't care. DAG was a great example of this last cycle in early 2021. It was sitting at lows, it crashed 70%, did absolutely nothing, and there was a community, but it was relatively small. During the bull run, when Bitcoin led the way, and then later, some assets pumped, DAG did nothing, and then exploded and did a 70x. I saw the DAG community absolutely explode as DAG did a 3, 5, 10, 20x return. And that's the same thing we see for a variety of assets, if and when they get that price action when volume rotates. So there are over a dozen different assets that have a similar structure as Casper. Until we break and actually close that 7-cent fair value gap, we're in accumulation. If Bitcoin dumps, yes, we can create a spring and create an all-time low price. So not financial advice, but for me personally, we need to see a strong V-shaped recovery sooner than later. It's looking more and more likely we can see an all-time low price for a type of spring in this accumulation. So I know I shouldn't even be covering price charts right now because some people will say I'm FUDding Casper. That's not my intention. Just looking at the price chart today, from the current price of Casper to the all-time low, it's about 18% away. I don't think it's crazy to say that it's possible if we don't get this strong V-shaped recovery to the upside. It takes Bitcoin dumping, a certain move from Bitcoin dominance, and it can happen, so I'm open to that. But yes, until we actually see a break above 7 cents, closing that fair value gap, we're in accumulation, we're at the lows. HBAR is drawing well, so for my bags, HBAR is doing well, Casper isn't. So if HBAR ends up running well before Casper, that's something I'll entertain if I want to rotate to Casper. If you don't believe in Casper, that's completely fine. So I see HBAR and Casper as two enterprise-grade networks. HBAR has been around longer, it's experienced a bull run, it has tons of holders and a community, it has TVL, more applications, and a bunch of funding. But the pros for Casper include staking rewards at 11 to 12%. Hedera staking rewards are reduced massively, so I'm not really earning much with Hedera whatsoever, but with Casper it's 11 to 12%. So I see Hedera as my more established play with a higher market cap, but if Casper reached even the market cap of Hedera today, that would be an upside of 11x. So there are definitely pros and cons, but that's a big reason why I hold both. And we know during past cycles when Bitcoin is drawing major moves into all-time highs, not breaking above and coming back down like we saw today, where a variety of assets in the top 20 reached 5, 10, $20 billion market caps, and some of which went much higher. Doge, Cardano, Solana, AVAX, Litecoin, we're talking 20 to even $90 billion in market cap. So if history rhymes like it did during the past cycles, we're going to see other assets that might not be super well known get up into the top 50, top 30, even top 10. Next up, looking at Txns, looking at supported crypto assets, we can see XRP, Algo, HBAR, AVAX, Stellar, Ethereum, Polygon, Tezos, Polkadot, Link, Solana, and more. On Txns, under the Invest tab, we can see BlackRock's Liquidity Fund, we can see Aberdeen's Liquidity Fund. These are money market funds which Txns has created on both the Hedera and Ethereum blockchains. We can see BlackRock's money market fund, the first transaction of tokenized shares of the BlackRock money market fund, which was also tokenized on Hedera, completed across the Onera Fin P2P digital asset network. So we can see these funds with their respective currencies and their minimum investment. This is when we need to see liquidity get into these funds. Another question I have is, what the heck is this on Metaco.com up here? Metaco.com will be sunset as of June 7th, 2024. When we click this, it takes us to this website, Ripple Solutions Digital Asset Custody. So as we scroll down, we can see the Ripple dashboard right here, institutional fund storage, guard capital, treasury holdings, deposit trust. So what does this mean? Metaco.com will be sunset as of June 7th, 2024. Is Metaco.com just the domain being sunset or the platform itself? And apologies if I missed this piece of news already, if this was already announced and explained. I'm still a little sick and just coming back to research. So maybe this is just part of their overall acquisition and their restructuring and they're putting it all under Ripple custody. I'm genuinely not sure, so I'll have to catch up and see any podcasts or recent posts. So hopefully I'm just overthinking it because Metaco's huge with HSBC, IBM. We know that Metaco and Txns are plugged into IBM Cloud as well. Metaco and Txns also collaborate, so over 100 employees, over 20 jurisdictions, and 5 continents. So hopefully this is just being restructured and put under the Ripple custody. Because I'm telling you right now, that doesn't make sense knowing that Ripple acquired Metaco for $250 million. So hopefully they're just incorporating it under the Ripple umbrella or Ripple custody because that would just be a giant slap to the face. Next up, shared by Hashpack, the final snapshot date before the PAC token launches is May 17th. We have the total crypto market cap right here on the weekly price chart still holding above the 21-week EMA. This is a really important level to hold if we are to rhyme with past cycles, specifically this run-up in 2016-2017 during these pullbacks. And last but not least, we have Merlin linked in the top of the YouTube video description, the smartest way to track your crypto and set up customized exit plans. You can try 100% free using the link below, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Huge thank you to all that hit the like button, and until next time. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.